Yo, what's up, guys? Great comeback win for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. Coming back from 1-0 down to beat the Philadelphia Flyers 2-1 in overtime, guys. Now, how are we feeling about this one, guys? Really solid comeback win for the Maple Leafs tonight, guys. Now, it was a pretty low event hockey game until overtime. It was pretty quiet. Not too many crazy things happen. A couple eventful things happen in the third. A couple of eventful things happen in overtime. The first and second period were quite quiet, to say the least. Very limited chances, few and far in between in this hockey game. Leafs had a couple chances. Matthews had a 2-on-1 breakaway. Michelli had a chance in the second period. There were some opportunities for the Leafs in this game, guys. Philly had some chances as well. They had a breakaway at times. They had a two-man advantage at one point, the Flyers, in this game. But credit to the Maple Leafs penalty kill being one of the best penalty kills in the league since December, guys. So the Leafs doing a great job on the PK. 0 for 3 for the Flyers tonight on the power play, killing a two-man event for 52 seconds, And as we saw, Scott Laughton obviously making his return to the Philadelphia Flyers after being traded for the Maple Leafs, guys. So some really exciting things happened in this game. We obviously saw Konecny start off the scoring in the second period, of course, 55 seconds in, and look at Max Bloody Domi on that goal. Just little stick poke, Max Domi not doing anything there. As typical Max Domi on the defensive side of the puck, guys, defensive side of the ice there. Max Domi, again, being a liability on the defensive side of the puck. And then you obviously got guys like Phil Myers and Morgan Riley on the ice as well. So you already know that a disaster is going to ensue when you have those three guys all on the ice together all at once. And of course, Konecny scores, gives the Flyers the 1-0 lead. The Flyers only had 3 shots on net in the second period, and one of them was the goal. So the Leafs did a great job defensively on the Flyers, but the Flyers did a great job on the Leafs defensively as well. Leafs had a couple of power players as well. They had that one power play. Obviously, the Leafs couldn't score on their power play opportunities tonight, unfortunately, even though the power play has looked a lot better under Steve Sullivan, of course, guys. But other than that, some great chances for both teams, but the Flyers had a real scary opportunity, as we saw in the third period, of course. Tippett bringing the puck around, big scramble in front. Zegras is lifting his arm up like, oh, we scored. It clearly, obviously, wasn't a goal, of course, and Hildeby's able to keep it out of the net. And I thought Hildeby was spectacular in this game, especially in overtime and in the first period as well, really keeping it tight, keeping it 0-0 in that first period, because the Flyers did have some chances in that first period, but Hildeby held the fort down in this game for the Leafs. Even though he doesn't have a great record on the road, 1-3-1, he was very, very good tonight and was a big reason why the Maple Leafs won the hockey game. But after that ensuing scrum in front of the net, the goal's there's no goal there, obviously. We saw Scott Laughton coming in, guys, on that shorthanded goal there after I mentioned the 2-minute, the shorthanded goal there, guys, with Laughton after the Leafs killed the two-man advantage there. Scott Laughton comes in on the left goal, very similar to the Dallas goal. Takes a great shot. Vladar's partially screened. Top corner there. Great goal by Scott Laughton to score a goal on his former team. Really haunted them, not only with that goal, but on the face-off circle as well tonight, guys. Scott Laughton won 19 of 20 face-off draws tonight. That is an incredible statistic, guys. The best game for a center, draw-wise, in the NHL this season. Scott Laughton was massive in the circle. Massive clutch goal for him to tie it for the Maple Leafs with only 5 minutes left in the third. Things were looking bleak in that game. The last couple games, the Leafs did not have great third periods. So the Leafs tonight as well did not have a fantastic third period, but they showed character. They continued to push. They didn't give up, and they found a way to tie up this hockey game late into the game. And then overtime, as we saw, overtime was bloody hectic. First 20 seconds in, we give up a breakaway to the worst man to give up a breakaway to Trevor Zegras. The guy's got like a 61 percentile in the shootout. So him on a breakaway was really high opportunity for the Flyers to win that game in overtime. But Dennis Hildeby makes a massive pad save. Then we saw Easton Cowan on the breakaway, guys. He had an opportunity. He can't score on Vladar. Then we saw the Flyers on a 2-on-1, a massive scramble in front. And listen, give Morgan Riley some credit here. I'm not his biggest fan, but good on him to dive there to try to protect the net there. Flyers don't score. Leafs were able to get the puck out of that scramble. We saw John Tavares and Cowan going on 2-on-1. And John Tavares, as we all know, has had a really difficult month and a half, I would say. After having an incredible start to the season, he's really had a difficult time scoring, assisting the last month and a half or so, has really been off the score sheet. But John Tavares comes up huge in this game tonight with a fantastic between-the-leg pass to Easton Cowan. Cowan takes a great shot, who was clearly tired, had that breakaway. Legs were dead, but he finds a way to get the shot off, beat Vladar, and the Leafs get a massive second point tonight, guys, off the comeback win. Just a very, very important second point for the Maple Leafs tonight, guys. Massive, because Florida lost tonight to the Habs. Leafs surpassed Florida now, with now Leafs having 49 points. Leafs have gone 8 straight games with a point now, a 6-0-2 record in their last 8 games. The Leafs are starting to chug now, guys. They're starting to play some good hockey. Now, obviously, this was a lower event game. Chances were few and far in between, like I mentioned. But give the Leafs credit here, man, to battle and find a way to not let the Flyers get that second goal. Hildeby held the fourth, and I thought the team played very solid defensively tonight, and they just found a way to get those 2 points tonight, guys. Just a spectacular game by the Leafs. I thought Cowan played well tonight, at times in this game. I thought Lawton was fantastic as well, and he only played like 11, 12 minutes tonight, Scott Lawton. So he didn't have a lot of minutes in this game tonight, and I think he deserves a little bit more after the way he performed in this game tonight, guys. Even though it's a comeback game, become a hometown game for him, of course. But at the same time, though, great performance by him. Great performance by Easton Cowan as well. I thought he played well tonight in this game. I thought the D-core was solid tonight at times. I thought Stetcher was solid. Again, Ekman Larson was solid tonight as well. I thought everybody had a solid game. Hildeby was spectacular again in overtime. He makes that save while trying to bat the puck out. He made some key saves tonight to give the Leafs the 2 point, guys. If it wasn't for Hildeby, the Leafs aren't winning this game tonight. But quiet night tonight by Matthews. Obviously, had one chance on the 2-on-1, like I mentioned. He had a great chance as well. Domi made him a great pass after the Leafs had scored. He just shot it wide, unfortunately. Michelli had a great chance with the tip-in, like I mentioned, in the second period. So there was some good performances tonight by the Leafs. Obviously, we like to see the Leafs threaten the net more often. Obviously, we didn't see that as much tonight because it was a very back-and-forth game. And the Flyers are a tough team. Rick Tocchet, tough coach. The Flyers are an up-and-coming team. They got some good players on their team like Konechny and Zegras and Sanheim, who's obviously going to play for Team Canada at the Olympics this year, guys, next month. So Flyers have some very good talent. Leafs obviously had to grind out this game, battle, find a way to get the 2 points, and that's exactly what they did tonight, guys. Just some very good stand-up performances tonight by Hildeby and Lawton. Cowan gets his first overtime winner, scored his first goal as an NHLer in Philadelphia as well. So Cowan's got 2 goals against the Flyers, starting to have their number. We still don't have William Nylander back. That's obviously a concern. We obviously don't have Jake McCabe, and the Leafs are still finding ways to win games. I'm just a little bit concerned now when Willie comes back. What do you do with the lines? Because the lines are starting to gain some chemistry. I'm really liking McMahon, how he's been playing lately, even though he had a bit of a quiet night tonight with Matthews and Domi, of course. Michelli, Nyes, and Tavares. I thought they played okay. They weren't amazing tonight, but I thought Michelli was the best guy out of the 3 tonight on that line, guys. And then, obviously, Nick Waugh, Cowan, and Robertson had a bit of a quiet night other than Easton Cowan. Of course, there were some opportunities as well, but Scott Lawton, again, was one of the biggest key benefactors as to why the Maple Leafs won this game tonight. He was spectacular in the circle tonight, guys. Massive win for the Leafs, guys. Just continue to accumulate points, guys. Continue to get wins, and sooner or later, these teams will start to lose. Everybody just decided to start winning now at the worst bloody possible time. Detroit won tonight. Boston won tonight. Montreal won tonight. So there's a lot of teams. Buffalo won tonight as well against the Rangers. Everybody's bloody winning. The Leafs are on this good run right now, and everybody else decides to win. Nobody's dropping games. This is going to be an absolute grind to get into the playoffs for the Maple Leafs. But the way Hildeby's playing right now, the way Wall's been playing decent as of late, of course, the D-core's been solid. Obviously getting Carlo back is great as well once we get McCabe back. Tanev's obviously looking like he's going on LTIR with a growing issue, of course. We don't know what's going on with Anthony Stolarz, but the Leafs are probably going to have to carry 3 goalies. There is no way in hell the Leafs are going to risk losing Dennis Hill to be on waivers, because if they put him on waivers, they are 100% losing Dennis Hill to be guys. Now, there's obviously some other rumors about maybe Luke Shen wanting to leave Winnipeg. I think the Leafs should be all over that. For a late draft pick, maybe a 4th rounder, 5th rounder, you go get Luke Shen. You put him with Morgan Riley, for God's sake, because Riley played great with Luke Shen. You put Carlo on the third pairing there with maybe Benoit for now until maybe Tanev, if he does come back at some point, guys. But I would like to see Luke Shen back. I wouldn't mind him coming back, even though he's a bit of a slower defenseman. Still smart hockey player, makes the right decisions, won 2 cups as well, has experience, so I wouldn't hate that either. But listen, guys, with Tanev possibly being gone for a little bit, Nylander, McCabe hopefully coming back soon. Leafs have gone 8 games with a point now. Fantastic to see as well. Things are trending in the right direction now, guys. Let's just hope the Leafs continue to play this way, continue to have some important wins moving forward, of course, guys. And we'll see what happens next game for the Maple Leafs, guys. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on tonight's hockey game, guys. So click like if you like this video. Subscribe if you guys want to see more content. Go Leafs, go as always, guys. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Leafs Unfiltered. Ciao, guys.